Hello. So, next chapter we are today going to start. The question number one is: bureaucracy is a system of government, the control of which is so completely in the hands of official that their power jeopardizes the liberty of ordinary citizen. Okay, so how bureaucracy is jeopardizing the liberty of the ordinary citizens, and what is the traits of the bureaucracy which is not which is against the citizen of India? So first of all, bureaucracy is the term used to describe the administration in government characterized by red tape, rigidity, insensitivity. Historically, bureaucracy is a social invention perfected during the Industrial Revolution. So Weber considered the bureaucratic form of organization as the best method of organization for any social group which has to coordinate the work of numerous persons, whether in the public or private dominion. So it is an impersonal, routinized structure where legitimized authority rests in office and not in the person of the incumbent. To bureaucracy is attributed such advantage in specialization of structure, predictability, stability, rationality, partial democracy. But there are many sort of malfunction in the, like impartiality, routinized resistance to charge, empire building, waste of resources in the bureaucracy is the greatest danger of bureaucracy. So Lord Hayward characterized the power and authority of bureaucracy as new despotism and jeopardize even the liberty of the citizen. Next, what the next question is: once fully established, bureaucracy is among those social instruction which are the hardest to destroy. What is saying the beautifulness of this question is that bureaucracy is among those social structure which are hardest to destroy. Like it can't be destroyed. Bureaucracy can't be destroyed. What are, like Max Weber regarded? First of all, we have to understand about the Max Weber. Okay, so Max Weber regarded bureaucracy as a universal social phenomena and the means of carrying community action over into rationally ordered social action. So bureaucracy means desk government or management by bureau, denoting the sum total of personal apparatus and procedure by which an organization manage its work and accomplish its purposes. So bureaucracy developed in the 18th or 19th century. It attained new heights in 20th century despite the triumph in several states of Marxist ideology, which seek to eliminate it. Special factor necessitating the expansion of public bureaucracy are rapid increase in population, urge for social security, industrialization, economic and social development, planning, nationalization of industry. So Weber described bureaucracy as a system of administration characterized by expertness, impartiality, and the absence of humanity. Okay. So, however, bureaucracy has been severely criticized by eminent scholars. Its defects are circumlocution, red tape, formalism, thirst for power. So it's supposed to bring about a new despotism in our society. But bureaucracy is hierarchical, position oriented, and authoritarian in concept. As status has said, Strauss has said it must live with modern Leviathan, and the question is not how to kill it but how to tame it. So we wants to tame it, not it to kill it. Okay, now next question. Today we are going to discuss about the consensus and anonymity used as a style in decision making. So this question is about the decision making, and what is asking about consensus and anonymity. What the meaning of consensus is the collective decision making and to give the authority to the decisions. And anonymity, it should be anonymous, like no one knows about that decision. So see, decision making is a rational process where decision makers seek out and chooses the course of action that is most likely to maximize the attainment of the goals and objectives. Sometimes a group is entrusted with taking a decision. There are relative advantage and disadvantage of group decision making in terms of quality of the decision arrived at, the creativity of those decisions, and the degree of decision among those who must implement them. It is generally agreed that participation in group decision making increase the level of understanding, acceptance of group decision. Okay, and individual and participation increase the members' commitment to executing group decision. So the concept of consensus in decision making is gaining grounds, and consensus does not imply anonymity For perfect anonymity is just impossible. So it simply means that the majority of people subscribe to particular view which all the members are willing to accept in the larger interest of the organization. Okay. So now next question is, the principle of bureaucratic neutrality is more superfluous and redundant in the context of developing country. So principle of bureaucratic neutrality. It's asking about the bureaucratic neutrality. Okay. So bureaucratic neutrality is more superfluous and redundant in context of developing country. Like bureaucratic neutrality is not, it's a superfluous and redundant, like it's not present normally in bureaucratic system. So Weber's theory suggests that the bureaucracy is a neutral instrument which can be used by anyone who comes to gain control over it. However, experience has shown that the bureaucracy tends to function in the interest of ruling classes. The political, economic, social condition of developing country are not stable enough to bureaucracy neutrality, so that fruits of this can be distributed to each part of society equitably. The political and economic power tend to accumulate in certain pockets of society, thus inhibiting its widespread distribution across the society. So Weber noted that the bureaucracy comes to have a lot of power of its own, and that recruitment to bureaucracy is often made from among the rich. Since it is only the rich who can afford the necessary higher education, all this leads to the interference that the upper level of bureaucracy belong to upper class and tend to function in their interests. The bureaucracy cannot be said to be neutral, especially in the context of developing country. Okay. So now next question is, administration efficiency is enhanced by keeping a minimum the number of organizational level through which a matter must pass before it is acted upon. Herbert Simon. Okay. So what it is saying? It is saying administration efficiency is enhanced by keeping at a minimum the number of organizational level. So the level should be minimum. If level will be increased, then complexity will be increased. Okay. And which a matter must pass before it acted upon. So matter must pass before acted upon. The organizational level should be minimum in number. So administrative structure of public or private space is based on hierarchy, and the hierarchy is nothing but various level of organization. In organization there is top level is executive, so it is executive. Okay. And then there is middle level of management, manager, and third level is supervisor. So we will get here manager, and here is supervisor. Okay. Supervisor in like below to the managers. Okay. So now decision taken at the top level are transmitted to the lower level for the implementation of the decision. If organizational level are very tall, that will cause unnecessary delays, and there arise a communication problem, and supervision will also become a problem and finally affect the efficiency. So to improve the efficiency, this organization level should be kept at minimum number. The decision can be communicated and can be achieved easily, and supervision on span of control can be kept as optimum level. In this way we can easily achieve organizational goal. Okay, so this is how we drafted the question. I'm little bit fast, but you has to grasp all the like things what I'm saying here. Okay. So next question is, a more thorough consideration leads to the understanding that communication, authority, specialization, and purpose are all aspects comprehensed in coordination. So first of all, coordination. So in coordination there is the communication, there is a specialization, there is the purpose. Okay. And all aspects are comprehended in coordination. Okay. So Bernard views an organization as a social system in which the communication, authority, specialization, and purpose provides essential component for its proper working. But when he talks about the coordination, it seems all these four concepts have been engulfed in a single notion. Communication, according to the depends upon the character of authority, and vice versa. Communication is of no use if it is not properly understood by the subordinate. So communication should be understood by the subordinate. Okay, it's ordinate, it's subordinate. So Authority is necessary for coordination because it's the same concept that provide the management the power to order the employee. It helps in determining not only unity of direction but also help in controlling the organization. Specialization is the need of hour, and if different specialization part of organization cannot be properly coordinated, then the organization will disintegrate. Finally, a well-defined purpose provides the management a goal which further help in coordinating the organization to achieve the same. Thus, all these four components are essential for coordination. Okay, so how Bernard described this question? Now, critically examine the models of Max Weber and Chester I. Bernard with the reference to bureaucratic authority. So, this is the authority. Okay, authority is the process of administration, may be defined as the legitimate. Authority is what? Legitimate. Legitimate right to give orders and get those orders obeyed. So, give orders or get that order should be obeyed. Then, exercise of authority involves superior subordinate relationship and refer to positional authority. The classical theory holds that authority involved in managerial position is achieved by delegation. So authority will be by delegation. Okay, it's by delegation from higher position. Flow of this authority is known as top down authority. Each manager in the organization has specific set of authority delegated to him and built into role prescription of this position. So required because manager at each level are responsible to get the things assigned to them. Max Weber view on authority have the same prescriptive character, according to whom positional authority is the common feature of the most organizational existing today. So Kester Bernard challenge the traditional concept of flow of authority from top to bottom, and the essential ingredient of Bernard concept of source of authority that person subject to authority voluntarily accept it. If someone is voluntarily acceptance, that is called the authority. So acceptance theory view authority as being present when a directive is legitimate by virtue of its acceptance of law. If authority is accepted by the below level, that means it's legitimate authority, and it is by voluntarism. So authority is accepted to a certain extent of zone of indifference. He described about the zone of indifference. Okay, and beyond the zone of acceptance does not occur. Like Simon given the zone of acceptance, and beyond that this authority can't be go for, like it can't be occur, and authority does not exist. All right, next question. Weberian model of bureaucracy lacks empirical validity when applied to modern democratic administration. So, although Max Weber revolutionized the field of administration by giving his famous concept of bureaucracy, what is question? Weberian model bureaucracy lacks empirical validity when applied to modern democratic administration. It is saying this when Weber's model is applied in democratic administration, that is not validated. Okay, so although Max Weber revolutionized the field of administration by giving his famous concept bureaucracy, but his insistence on making it an ideal type of for administration was not at par with the modern administration setup, so which needs flexibility. Weber gave the concept of hierarchy, rules of law, impersonal order, written document, sphere of competence, neutrality. But if these concepts are to be examined in modern day scenario, they do not seem to be empirically valid. So hierarchy means a line of command when order flow from top to bottom, and there is a superior subordinate relationship. But in modern administration, this will result in delay and wastage of time, as there are many problems that can be tackled at the subordinate level and superior need not be informed on every petty issue. So strict adhering to rule of also hamper the rapid progress as well as initiative by the administrator. Innovations are something that are overlooked. The administration in this way changes in closed system, which is detrimental to the whole state. Likewise, sphere of competence means every administrator will have his unique sphere in which he will have to work. But with modern day administration, which require interlinkage coordination, there is a complex overlapping of sphere. Hence, this notion is also not valid empirically. So, impersonal order and neutrality will require human being working as machine, as it will strike out notion of value from the administration. He will work as a cog in the machine. Also, in today's world where there is an increasing concept about people and there is a mix between polity and administration, one cannot hold the neutrality in true spirit. So all this show that with ever in increasing complexity, the administration need to be more flexible and value ridden than be just a machine, which goes on to show the Weber's ideal type cannot be empirically validated. Okay, so what it is saying about the like modern administration will result in delay and wastage of time, and there are many problems to tackle the subordinate level, and superior needs not be informed on pretty issues. So one of the problem of hierarchy was there. Second, Weber gave the concept of hierarchy, rule of law, impersonal order, written documents, and neutrality, sphere of competence. So they do not seem to be empirically valid even. Now, strict adhering to the rules also hamper the rapid progress as well as the initiative by the administration. And innovation is something that are overlooked the administration in this way, change in the closed system, which is detrimental to the whole state. Likewise, sphere of competence means every administrator will have his unique sphere in which he will have to work. But modern day administration, which require interlinkage of coordination, complex overlapping of the sphere, hence this notion is also not valid. So impersonal order and neutrality will require human being working as machine, as it is will strike out the notion of values from the administration. He will work as a cog in the machine. Also, in today's world where there is increasing concern about people and there is a mix-up between the polity and administration, one cannot hold neutrality in true spirit. It is talking about the neutrality. So all this show that this ever increasing complexity needs to be more flexible and value ridden than be just a machine. And he is talking about it just not be a machine, it just be a flexible and value ridden. An ideal type cannot be empirically validated. Okay, so this was the Weber talking about. Now next question was about next question, bureaucracy can exist only where the whole service of the state is removed from the common political life of people. So it is saying political life should not be there in bureaucracy. Okay, it should be removed. Its chief as well as rank and files. Its chiefs as well as rank and file. Its motive, its objective, its policy, its standard must be bureaucratic. It is like इसके जो मोटिव है, its motives, its objectives, its policy, its standards must be bureaucratic. Everything should be bureaucratic. So bureaucracy is regarding much closer to the closed system where there is not much interference with the outside environment. Bureaucracy as an institution is thought to be having its own unique way of functioning, which is isolated from the political life of people. So bureaucracy has its own motive, objective, and policy for service delivery. It is not pressurized or influenced by public opinion. Okay, some of the characteristics of bureaucracy has been the rules, neutrality, impersonality in the administration hierarchy. So bureaucracy moves according to written rules. It does not want to deviate from the rules which make it rigid and closed system. In this age, awareness and information, it become difficult for the bureaucracy to follow the procedure, and it is not able to work in isolation. So neutrality means impartiality, but because of influential public leaders, the neutrality has also been challenged. The political executive tries to move bureaucracy which hamper the neutrality. So impersonality is also being challenged due to public opinion where some targets group needs more attention and should be given a favor. So hierarchy, which is the most important characteristics of bureaucracy, has been broken sometimes to impart some degree of flexibility to the political or public purpose. All this show that it has virtually become impossible for the bureaucracy to work according to its norms. That's why it is being said that bureaucracy can exist only where the whole service of the state is removed from common political life. Next question. See, we should be impersonal. There should not be lots of hierarchies, and neutrality should be there. Impartiality should be there. So in this system, where is the closed system, but rules, neutrality, impersonality, this is the traits of the bureaucracy. So there only it can be exist. Okay. Next question: Weber ideal of impersonal detachment and split the corps are incompatible. So split the corps. See, Weber's ideal of bureaucracy was an ideal type. According to him, if the workers are impersonal in their outlook, then only they can be rational. Because rationality was the central concern in ideal type of organization. So impersonality means that the bureaucratic from organization does not entertain irrational sentiments. These are devoid of human emotions and values. Only then it can work rationality, because their sentiments drive him towards the faulty work schedule because of his personal like and dislike. Weber was saying that officials are expected to carry out their duty without allowing themselves to the influence by their personal emotions and sentiments. So official work should be concluded without a bias, and the impersonal order should orient the action of bureaucratic both in issuance of the commands to the subordinate. So in this is the case of impersonal detachment, then the idea of spirit the corps seemed to be incompatible. And spirit the corps means teamwork where many persons are emotionally attached and work as a team. So the impersonal detachment calls for impersonality and the work is done by individual. In Spirit the Corps, there is notion that no one is this word is perfect and the shortcoming can be removed. So this is novel idea and the complete a task, but in bureaucracy this is not allowed. This is due to the reason that there will be a bias. If the work is carried in group, some person of the group may dislike the work and vice versa. In that case, then personal likes or dislike will matter, which means that the decision taken will not be rational. So rationality can be achieved only in the condition where the human being are being transformed into machine which do not have any sentiments and emotions. So rationality is opposite to values. Because science is said to be rational because it is devoid of values, same is the case with bureaucracy, which needs personal with impersonal detachment. So spirit the corps or team spirit, the member of the group favor each other and help each other. They try to maximize their profit out of put helping each other in their task, but this can lead to undue favor of nepotism, which is why it is said that the impersonal detachment is necessary to make any organization ideal type. It is the predictable, whereas due to the impersonal detachment, the bureaucracy work is often predictable. Also, the mechanistic view that decision will be program type and impartial. There will not be undue preference and favors, and it is spread the corps. The decision is the team decision. It is not programmed and non-routine type. The two notion of impersonal detachment and spirit the corps are in conflict with each other, such that it can be said that they both are at the different end of continuum. Next is Follett view authority belong to the job and stay with the job. Follett is saying belong to the job and stay with the job. So Follett define authority as vested power, the right to develop and exercise powers authority in terms of status and the subordination of one to another offends human dignity and may cause undesirable reaction and fiction. Therefore, it cannot be bias of organization. According to her, authority stems from the task being performed and from the situation, and suggests that function is the true basis from which authority is derived. Therefore, she says that central authority, deviation of authority from the chief executive should be replaced by authority of function, in which each individual are final authority which the allotted function. She feels that authority can be conferred on other and such confirm is not delegation. She expressed the clear terms that delegation of authority should be an absolute expression. Like authority, responsibility also flow from the functions and situation. Therefore, one should ask for what is responsible, then to who's to responsible. Follett also believe in pluralistic concept of responsibility or cumulative responsibility and rejects the ultimate responsibility. This authority can be defined as the right to give orders and power to exert obedience. This authority is the legitimate right to command or influence others to behave toward the attainment of specific goals. So in the administration, each position or job have a specific orders and job holders acquire from title of the positions. Okay. So it is saying about authority is the responsibility and flow from the function and situations, and therefore one should ask for what is the responsible, to whom to responsible, and a pluralistic concept of responsibility is cumulative responsible and rejects the ultimate responsibility. So Follett defined the authority as a vested power, the right to develop and exercise power. Authority in terms of status and subordinates is one of the often human dignity and may cause undesirable reaction. So it is saying like authority is from the chief executive, and it replaces the authority of function in which each individual has final authority. So she feels that the authority can be conferred on others and such conferment is not delegation. Okay, so this was the question. Now the next question, the failure of classical science of administration is its capacity to confront theory with evidences. The failure of classical science of administration its capacity to confront theory of evidence. So the classical science of administration is also known as the formal organization theory or traditional theory or the structural theory. So this theory of administration was developed during the year of between the First and Second World War. The most important concern of the classical theory is the formulation of certain universal principle, and the classical administration science most critical favor like its formulation of certain universal principle which is given by the theory of evidence. Okay, classical science. So the classical administration science most critical failure in its incapacity to convert theory of evidence. The principle tend to dissolve when put into rest. Partially this is because of the consequences of difficulty. It is not possible to conduct controlled experiment to test the theory time and again. The classical administration theory is also criticized for its neglect of human element in organization. Writing of classical thinker, there are certain trends which considered humans as insignificant in administration process. In the first place, there is tendency to treat the human being as an inert instrument incapable of individual contribution based on personal qualification. It is this critical failure that gives rise to human relation movement and behavioral study. The new development, the failure of classical theory by viewing organization essentially as human association. Being living entity, the human have both psychological and physiological process. Hence, human element cannot be taken for granted. The dynamic nature of administration setting in which function is not given adequate attention.